Hi, I'm Callie from CRK Training. Today I just wanted to take a moment to address a question that came in from my trail riding video. So I'm going to read the question. There's actually two parts to it, and then I will do my best to answer. So the first part of this question is, when I go out trail riding, my Tinker gelding is afraid of cows. Why is that, and how can I fix this? So this is actually something that I find is common for a lot of horses that have not been exposed to cows or even other livestock. So for example, we have a sheep pasture that's right next to us here, and about 75% of the horses that come to my farm are terrified of the sheep the first few times that we have to ride by. The simplest way to answer this is just that he needs to be around the cows more. So as he spends more time seeing the cows, as he spends more time being close to the cows, he's essentially going to get used to them. He's going to start to recognize that he has been close to the cows this number of times, nothing bad has ever happened, and then his fear is going to go down. So it's really, it might not necessarily be an easy answer, because it might mean taking him out there a lot of times and getting him to be around the cows and getting as close to them as you can, whether that's in the saddle or even just leading him up to them. But it's a pretty simple answer. It's just that he needs to be around them more so that he gets used to them. So now I'm going to read the second part of the question, and this is, I also have another horse that tends to accelerate every time we're going to cross the street. Why does she do this? She does it every time, and it's quite dangerous. I can't stop her when we want to cross. So on some occasions, I just cross the street without seeing what traffic is coming. Even when I dismount, she's not getting quiet. Is she just getting in her own world and wanting to cross the street as fast as possible, or is she anxious about something? So when I read the question, there were three things as far as what could be causing this behavior that kind of came to mind. So first off, she might just be anxious being out on the trail. So it might be that, I'm not quite sure where the road crossing is, but if it's going back to the barn, she might be wanting to get back to the barn more quickly and kind of getting a little bit barn sour about going back. If the road crossing is heading out, she might be excited about the trail ride and have a little bit of anxiety about leaving, and she might be more quick because of that. She could also be getting quick if there was a case maybe with a previous owner that she was kind of rushed across streets, and maybe she just has that as kind of a default behavior, that when she's crossing a street, she thinks she has to rush across. Or she might even be sensing some of your anxiety as you're riding, as you're coming up to the street, and if you're anticipating her behavior of rushing and getting more anxious and maybe gripping the saddle or gripping the reins harder, she's kind of feeding into that, into your anxiety as the rider, and then rushing across because of that. So those are the things that might be causing her anxiety about the street. What I would think about, what I'm going to try to kind of give you today as actionable advice, is a few things to do in your riding to feel like you can control her better, being able to essentially have her slow down when you're going across the street or when you're coming up to the street, and that way you can start to create and then reward her behavior of going more slowly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of turn sideways, and I'm just going to kind of demonstrate a simple position that I want you to think about having in your body, and I want you to practice asking for lots of walk to halt or walk to stop transitions when you're riding in an area that's easy for you. So this might be an arena if you have one, or it just might be an area of the trail where she's a little bit more calm and relaxed and that you feel comfortable. So I'm going to turn sideways a little, and what I want you to think about when you're riding is when you halt, you want to think about bringing your body back. So you're bringing your body back from your center, not just leaning back with your shoulders, but you're going to bring your body back every time that you halt. So you're riding, walking along, and then think halt, and then use the rein and take the contact with the reins as strongly as you need to until you get the halt of the responsive halt by coming back through your elbows, so that you're sitting more like this when you ask her to halt. This is going to put you in a stronger position, and if you practice this very consistently with every time you ask for halt, you bring your body back, your elbow, and you take contact with the reins, she's going to start recognizing just your body coming back as a signal for slowing down and halting. And then you can start to use that as the half halt, and then that'll be kind of the next step to practice. So you practice your walk halt using your body, and then you practice half halts at the walk using the new cue that you've essentially taught her of bringing your body back before you halt to ask for the half halt or the slow down. So you're walking, you want her to slow down, you bring your body back. If you need to, you take contact on the reins just like you were going to ask for halt. And then when she slows down, you soften your body and your hands to release the right behavior of slowing down. So you want to repeat this until you feel like in your calm area, you can halt and you can half halt or slow her down very easily. And then you're going to take the same thing to the road. So when you have this more secure position with your body, you should feel like you're physically able to slow her down or stop her much more effectively at the road. And when you can create the right behavior from her, then you can soften it and you can start to teach her what's expected crossing the road, which is going more slowly, even if she still has some of that anxiety. So we want to do as much as we can to decrease anxiety, but there's times, especially when trail riding and when we're doing things like crossing roads, which can just kind of inherently be scary for the horse because there can always be new things, new forms of traffic, new noises that come up. We want to start just teaching them the right behavior so that they get really solid with what they're supposed to do, even if some of that anxiety is still there. So I hope that this answers your question. Thank you very much for writing in. I'm glad that you enjoyed the first video on trail riding, and best of luck with your horses.